Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. Have you ever felt invisible? To the women you're drawn to, like you're standing right there, but no matter what you say, how hard you try, or even how much effort you put into looking the part, it's like they don't even notice you exist. If that hits home, stick around. What? I'm about to share one. Just flip the script on how women see you. It'll reshape how you see yourself. Now, here's the cold, hard truth. Most men don't want to hear about looking like a Hollywood actor, having a six-figure bank account, or memorizing some cheesy pickup lines. No, those airy distractions. The secret, it's not what society has been selling you. It's same thing, far deeper, more primal, and brutally honest. In today's video, I'm neither to sugarcoat anything. I'm James Andy. I'm going to walk you through the raw, unfiltered reality of attraction straight from the lens of masculinity. Self-mastery. Think of this as a wake-up call, because the rules of the game aren't what you've been told. And here's the kicker. The principles I'm about to share aren't just about women, they're about life. They're rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. You see, Stoics understood something that most men today overlook. They believed in living with purpose, building resilience, in owning your value regardless of what others think. This isn't about faking confidence or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about becoming a man who is grounded, focused, and untouchable. A man who attracts not box he chases, but because he exudes strength, certainty, and presence, but fair the power of calm and confidence. Warning. This isn't some feel-good fairy tale. The truth is often uncomfortable. It requires you to look in the mirror and face the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. But if you're a redito, take that first step. I promise you, teal will change everything. So buckle up. This isn't just another video about attraction. It's a blueprint to becoming men you've always wanted to be. Let's dive in. Here's the cold truth, and it's going to sting a bit. The key to attracting women has absolutely nothing to do with what you look like, what car you drive, or even the clever lines you think will sweep them off their feet. It's not about flashy displays of wealth or over-the-top bravado. Nope, it all comes down to one thing, your mindset. And here's the kicker, most men completely misenders this, sabotaging themselves in the process. Let me make this crystal clear. When I say confidence, I'm not talking about that loud, fake in your face type of arrogance you see some guys trying to pull off. That's just insecurity wearing a cheap disguise. Real confidence, the kind that's magnetic, that people gravitate toward, is quiet, it's solid. It's the kind of unshakable self-assurance that comes from knowing exactly who you are and being at peace with it, no matter what anyone else thinks. Think about someone you admire, a mentor, a friend, or maybe a historical figure like Marcus Aurelius. What makes them stand out? I'll bet it's not their looks or their bank balance, it's their presence. Their energetic, calm, collected demeanor that makes you trust them without a word. That's authentic confidence. It's powerful and it's rare. Now, here's the twist. The guys who aren't bending over backward to get women's attention, who aren't desperate trying to prove their worth, are the very ones who attract women effortlessly. Why? Because they're not chessing, they're not playing games or performing for approval, and women can sense this instantly. They can smell desperation like sharks smell blood in water, and nothing is more off-putting. Here's a reality check. Trying too hard is like holding a neon sign that says, I don't believe him enough, and that's the ultimate turnoff. Women want a man who's self-assured, he went, afraid to stand alone, and who breaking the pedestal mentality knows his value. And this is where Stoicism comes into play, a philosophy built on self-mastery and resilience. The Stoics didn't care about external validation. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, once said, it never ceases is to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Let that sink in. The foundation of Stoicism is this: stop living for the approval of others. True power comes from within. When you embrace this mindset, everything Changes you stop worrying, God, what she thinks of you, whether she'll text you back, or if you're saying right thing. Instead, you become focused on living a life. You're proud of building your strength, your skills, and your purpose. Women don't fall for the guy who needs them to feel complete. They're drawn to the man who is already whole. Now let me ask you this. Are you ready to let go of the lies you've been told about what it takes to be attractive? Are you ready to step into the kind of confidence that doesn't fade, doesn't rely on external validation, that can't be shaken by rejection best once? You do. You won't just change how women see you, you'll change how you see yourself. This isn't about tricks or tactics. It's about becoming a man who stands tall in his own skin, the kind of man who doesn't need to chase because his presence alone commands attention. Now picture this. You walk into a bar and across the room you see her, the kind of woman who would make most men freeze, stumble over their words, or overcompensate with a fake bravado bot. Not you. You don't get caught in that trap. Instead, you're calm, collected, and confident. You smile. Not because you're trying to impress her, but because you're genuinely enjoying yourself. You're not scanning room for approval or wondering how to make her notice you. You're just present, fully comfortable in your own skin. That energy, it's magnetic. But let's clear something up right now. This doesn't mean you ignore a man or pretend you're not interested. Thoughts just as fake as the guy who's over the top in his approach. The secretly's in balance, showing genuine interest while making it clear that your world doesn't revolve around her. It's about being open to connections but never needing them to validate your worth. Let me give you a scenario. You're at a party and someone catches your eye. The average guy would hover around her like a moth to a flame, trying too hard to crack the truth about attraction and standards, joke, dropping compliments every other sentence, or worse, acting like a clown, toast and doubt. But you don't fall into that trap. You're not day to make a move. Instead, you enjoy the night. You chat with other people, share a laugh, and just go with the flow. Then when the moment feels right, you approach her, not with air-rehearsed line or a nervous smile, but with calm confidence. There's no pressure, no overthinking, no WHFs, and that effortless, easygoing vibe. It's irresistible. I used to be the guy who overthought everything. I remember one time at a friend's wedding, I saw this woman who completely caught my attention. Instead of just relaxing and buying myself, I spent half the night rehearsing what I'd say. When I finally walked up to her, my nerves betrayed me. I stumbled over my words, and it was painfully obvious. I was trying too hard. She smiled politely. But the connection, it wasn't there. That night taught me something important. No matter how clever you think your approach is, if you're not confident and comfortable with yourself, it shows. Fast forward a few years, and I found myself in a similar situation, but this time I wasn't playing games with my own mind. I was just there laughing, having fun, and enjoying the moment. When I approached her, it wasn't about impressing her. It was about sharing a moment, and you know what? It was effortless, and it worked. Here's the brutal truth most men don't want to hear. Women aren't just responding to your words or actions. They're responding to your energy. If you're anxious, insecure, or overcompensating, it doesn't matter how smooth your lines are. They'll sense it like a shark senses blood in the water. But if you're relaxed, confident, and genuinely happy with who you are, that energy speaks louder than anything you could say. It's this unspoken presence height women can't help but notice and be drawn to. And this isn't just advice. This is life advice rooted in ancient wisdom. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, taught the importance of self-mastery and inner peace. They believed in living with purpose, not for the fleeting approval of others. Think about this. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, once wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Irresistible phrases that build connection. Lesson: you control your internal state, your thoughts, emotions, and how you carry yourself. Everything else is noise. You embody this mindset. It radiates through everything you do. You stop worrying about impressing others because you're too busy living a life. You're Proud of you, don't chase attention, Bez. You already have purpose. And fulfillment, this is what makes you stand out in a sea of men trying way too hard. But honest. Let me ask you this. What's more attractive? A man who's desperately trying to be someone he's not, or a man who's fully at ease with who he is? Thelator doesn't just walk into a room, he owns it. Without saying a word, he's note acting, he's living. That's the kind of men women are drawn to, not because he's seizing them, but because his presence alone is enough to captivate. The world doesn't need another guy trying to fake confidence or impress people who don't matter. What it needs is more men who are grounded, self-assured, and do unapologetically. So the next time you walk into a room, don't worry about whether or not they notice you. Focus on being someone you're proud to be. When you dot that, everything else, including women, will naturally fall into place. That's not just attraction, that's power, and it starts with you. Hold up, before we go further, I want to hear from you. What's one thing you've noticed that makes women instantly attracted? Drop a comment with. Self-respect is mocked. I see if Thatra signs with you. Let's talk about it. No. Let's get brutally honest for a second. Stop putting women on a pedestal. No society has been screaming at you to worship her, treat her like a queen, and to prove you're good enough. But let's be real, where does that actually get you when you elevate someone to the skis case? Where that puts you at their feet? Let's be clear, no one respects a mean who willingly places themselves beneath others. Here's the harsh truth. Most men don't want to face when you treat someone like they're untouchably some goddess who can do no wrong. Stoicism in dating. What? Marcus Aurelius would doyer not showing respect. You're showing weakness. Respect is mutual. It's not bending over backward to please a moan, or agreeing with everything they say just to stay on their good side. That's no respect, that's submission. And let me tell you, women didn't want a doormat. Think about it, Wido. The so-called bad boys seem to have no issue attracting women, is it? Because women love being mistreated. No, that's a lazy excuse men tell themselves to justify their own failures. The truth is these guys don't worship women like they are some divine beings floating above the rest of humanity. They see them as equals, flawed, human, and capable, as bad, good, and bad, just like themselves. That mindset creates a dynamic where women don't feel pressured to be perfected, and more importantly, it keeps the gift from losing himself in that process. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a situation where you tried to be too nice? You showered her with compliments, agreed with everything she said, and went out of your way to prove with a better man, and with Thopin 9 times out of 10. She lost interest, didn't she? Because here's the thing, women don't want a man who sees them as untouchable queens. They want a man who respects them, but also respects them. The guys who stand out are theons who aren't afraid to have their own opinions, even if it means disagreeing with her. They're not combative or disrespectful, but they're also not afraid to challenge her. Why? Because they see her as an equal, not as some mythical creature that needs to be coddled or constantly impressed. Let me put it this way. If you treat someone like they're rote, your league, they'll start to believe it, and so will you. Confidence isn't about arrogance or pretending to be something. Your note, it's about knowing your worth and refusing to compromise it for any unethical ties. Directly into something the Stoics understood thousands of years of Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors and philosophers, once said, "Don't value yourself lower than others. If you are equal in virtue, why place them above you?" The lesson here. Everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time, no matter how beautiful or intimidating thing may seem. You are not less than anyone, and the moment you believe that dynamic, how to talk to women like a Stoic shifts. Women don't want to feel like they are being worshipped. They want my own, who sees them for who they arrests them on, who challenges them, excites them on, keeps them on their toes. It's not about being a nice guy or a bad boy. It's about being a man who's grounded in his own value. So stop playing this game where a pedestal. I women to the point of diminishing yourself. Be respectful. Yes, bae, can absolutely. But never sacrifice your self-worth in the process, women. Don't need a follower, they're looking for a partner, someone who can stand beside them, not beneath them. And if that stings Sto here, good, because sometimes the truth isn't comfortable, but it's exactly what you need to wake up and level up. Stop chasing approval, start respecting yours, and watch how everything you vary sing changes. Let's cut through the noise for a second and talk. I'll boot something crucial. Keep your standard shy. Now, I'm not telling you to be some superficial jerk, nitpicking every little flaw, or expecting perfection that's noted at all. But here's the real deal. If you don't know what you won't tolerate in, you'll end up settling for whatever comes your way. And trust me, that's a one-way ticket to misery. Having high standards isn't just about what you want, it's about what you'd mean from life. It's about having clear values and making damn sure that the people around you align with them. Usually, when you refuse to settle for anything less than what you deserve, it sends a loud, clear message to everyone, especially women. You respect yourself, and guess what? That's self-respect. That's the stuff that attracts real lasting connections. Let's break it down. Imagine you're dating someone and they start showing you signs of disrespect or not treating you like you're worth their time. Now, most guys in this situation would either ignore third flags or make excuses. Not you. You've built your life around standard statue live by, and you won't tolerate underscore when you stick to those 10 dards. You're showing that your time is valuable, and women can sense that they'll respect you more, because they know a man who values himself won't settle for less, and that's a magnetic force. Here's the thing, then thought. Most guys don't get real attraction building unshakable confidence through Stoic wisdom. Has nothing to do with some clever, linear trying to outsmart someone with mind games. It's not about tricks or gimmicks. Real traction is raw. It's about living your life with purpose, doing what y'all went to do, and being unapologetic. When you're doing that, when you've got your life together, and you'll know what you want, you become a magnet for the right people. Women can see through the underscore. So when you're not desperate for validation and you actually respect yourself, that Becco meets your supper. This brings me to the brutal truth. If you don't have high standards for yourself, you're already setting yourself up for failure. You'll attract wrong people. You'll be stuck in toxic relationships, and worst of lose sight of who you really are. So start today, set the bar high, hold yourself accountable, live your life like you actually matter, because you do. And when you do that, women won't just be attracted to you, they'll be compelled to be part of your world. At the end of Theo, it's not about playing the game, it's about winning the game by being the best version of yourself. You're not here to chase validation. You're here to build something that lasts. You're here to show the world that your time, your energy, and your life are worth more than just being a stepping stone for someone else's happiness. Okay. So stop tolerating anything less than what you deserve. When you build a life you're proud of, and you live it on your own terms, the right people will come to you naturally, not because you played some game, but because you lived your truth legitly. That's real power. So how do you actually put all of this inner practice? Let me tell you, it's a process. The magnetic effect of self-respect. Sure, not going to wake up tomorrow and feel like a brand new person, and that's a key. Change happens step by step, starting with small shifts in how you think and act. Here's a great place to begin. Grab a piece of paper and make a list of the things you love about herself. Yep, right now it might feel weird or even awkward at first, but trust, it works. Maybe you're a great listener, have an awesome sense of humor, you're super dedicated to your goals. Whatever it is, write it down. Seeing those qualities on paper is like giving yourself a boost of self-esteem. It's the first step in really appreciating who you are. Next, challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone. I'm not saying you need to do anything crazy, but take small risks that push you. Start a conversation with a stranger. Sign up for that cooking or dance class you've always wanted to try, even if you're afraid of looking silly every time. If you face a fear, even in a small way, you've proved to yourself that you're capable. That builds real confidence. Harasana Thurgang, the next time you're out somewhere, make a conscious effort not to try and impress an ionologist. Be yourself, relax, enjoy the momental. Be surprised by how much this changes your interactions. People pick up on that ease and authenticity, and it's magnetic. And here's a big one: cultivate hobbies and passions that have nothing to do with conclusion, Dean, or relationships. Seriously, there's nothing more attractive than someone who has tire-owned, rich, fulfilling life, whether it's playing an instrument, traveling, or working on a side hustle. Find something that lights you up. Not only will it make you more interesting, but it'll also give you a sense of purpose and happiness that doesn't rely on anyone else. If you got something valuable out of this video, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who might need to hear this. Hit that like button and subscribe for more tips to completely transform your love life. Andy, want to hear from you? Drop a comment below with the most valuable takeaway you got from this video. Who knows? Your insight could be the one that helps another guy facing the same challenges.